right, it's Thursday. We're getting there. We're close to Friday. Today we're going to be reviewing probability for our MCA prep. So make sure you've got your packet, a pencil, a calculator ready to go. Our essential question is, how do I use fractions to find the probability of an event? Learning target is I can find the probability of specific events. All right, so big idea about probability was sample space. When we find the sample space, there's two ways we can do this. We can list the example, like we can make a list of all the different outcomes, or we can make a tree diagram. So we're going to start with a list. So I have this coin, and then I have a spinner. I'm going to first flip the coin and then spin the spinner. So what are my options that I could flip for the coin? Well, we know we could flip heads or tails. So let's say I flip heads. What could I spin on my spinner? I could spin a 1. All right, well, what if I flipped heads and I spun a 2? Heads and 3. I could have gotten a heads and spun a 4. Otherwise, I could have flipped a tails. If I flipped tails, I could have spun a 1. I could have flipped tails and spun a 2, tails and 3, a tails and 4. So this is creating a list of all of my outcomes. Okay, so this is the sample space. If I was to write the sample size, that's the actual number. So my sample size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total outcomes. So you can add that in if you want to tell yourself the difference between sample space and sample size. Okay? Next thing, make sure you have all that written down. If you need to pause the video at any time, totally do that. Not a big deal. We're going to make a tree diagram. So we got to think about, well, this is event 1, and how many options does it have? I could flip heads or tails. Okay, that was event 1. Event 2 is spinning the spinner. And how many options are on that spinner? 4. And this might get a little squishy for you. Okay, off each branch I'm going to have one of my different options. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is saying, hey, if I flip tails, these are all the things I could spin. If I flip heads, these are all the options I could spin. Again, you're still going to have the same type of combination. Okay, if I follow the lines, that's what they create. Sample size is still 8. Okay, because I didn't change either of my events. I'm still flipping a coin, I'm still spinning a spinner. All right, other idea with probability is that there's two types of probability. There's theoretical and there's experimental. So when we have theoretical, and I put some images for you, you're going to actually use the object. So I'm going to write that down. Use object. Okay, and this is when you make a fraction, it's what you want out of the total. Okay, you could also make it as a percent, or you can make it as a decimal. Okay, to do that, you just divide top by bottom to get your decimal, or move 2 to the right to get your percent. Okay? All right, then we have experimental probability or relative frequency. Those mean the same thing, and you'll see it both ways on the back side when we do some practice work. But when you do that, you're going to use the table, so make sure you write yourself a note there. Okay? It's like you did the experiment. You tried it. So when we do that, oftentimes you're going to have to add up how many times you tried. So if I've got 12, 10, 15, 13, add those. 12 and 10, 22, 37, 50. So if I said, what's the probability that we spin blue or pick blue, according to my table, I would say 10 out of 50. Or if I divided it, right, it'd be 0.2, or if I did the percent, it'd be 20%. All of those mean the same thing. Okay? The only difference between these two is the theoretical, you just look at the options on the object. Experimental means you use the results from the table. Okay? Flip on over the paper and you have your practice problems to work through. Again, get it signed off by the sub at the bottom to make sure you get points when you turn this in on Friday. If you have questions, there's an answer key in the binder. Please ask the sub and they can help you check it out. All right, get this work done. Have a great day. Bye.